What you're searching cannot be found out there. It cannot be found in another person. It cannot be found in a job, in a faraway travel, in a thing, in your purchases, in your clothes. It cannot be found in your makeup. It cannot be found in your car. It cannot be found in money. Some things may contribute to finding it. Some people may contribute to finding it. But what you're actually looking for is your magic, and that's in here. And it's so funny how we, travel the world and become, career people, or, how some people like to call it, we make it. But you've heard these stories before from all the people who made it. Just look at Hollywood, and then they are sitting in their houses and they're like, F. I am not happy though. And what I know from a lot of my clients and what I know from myself also is that we need to follow our soul, that we need to be in touch with who we truly are, because this is our magic. And this cannot be found in the outside world. This is within. So when we feel like we're not enough, or when we are feeling like we are too much, then we're actually just like disconnected from our magic, from our uniqueness, from who we truly are. We may be suppressing all our emotions that we've never allowed ourselves to feel because we learned we are too sensitive, or we are too much, or we are too loud, or we are too funny, or too joyful, or too naive. Maybe you've learned this growing up and you believed it, but what we need to learn is to question the narrative, because that will set you free. The narrative in itself is not the problem. You believing it is the problem. And that's why everybody out there is talking about reprogramming your mind. Everybody's talking about connecting to your emotions. Why? Because it gives you liberation. It gives you power. Your power that you have, you just don't notice it. You're just not aware of it, and maybe you don't even know how to access it. Yeah? And so it's not that it's not there. It's not that you're not magical. It's not that you're not enough. It's not that you're too much. It's not that you're not capable or lovable or beautiful. It's just you've started believing narratives that aren't yours to believe. And they cost you wounding, they cost you pain. So every time you feel a trigger, don't shoot the messenger. It has nothing to do with the other person or the situation at hand. Often, shift the perspective, shift the narrative, and see, oh, I'm triggered here. Wow, what could that be about? Yeah. And often you will find, this points at my wounding of I don't feel enough. Whoa, where did I learn that? Why do I believe that? And instead of submitting to that belief, why don't you question it? And why don't you put the work in instead of trying to be better and be someone else? Why don't you put the work in finding out why you're believing what you're believing and releasing it from your system? You're on the computer, you're deleting a photo on the computer or on your phone. You can delete that programming. Just need to know how. And the way to delete it is by feeling it through and facing it and walking towards it and not away from it. Not ignoring it, not suppressing it, not acting like you're over it. Because one thing triggers tell you is there's still something. When a trigger pokes you, it's pointing you towards, there's a wound that you are not seeing. There's a part of you that is not yet liberated. You can see it like that. A trigger points at a wounding that you have from whenever, and we don't need to make it about the people. We don't need to make it about, who caused you that pain. We need to make it about you accepting that pain. And by accepting that you have it, you enable yourself to look at it and process it and let it go, rather than being identified with the narrative that holds you back from being liberated in who you are and how you live your life. You know, because all the things that you think you cannot do, although you kind of want to do them, maybe, that are all narratives in your head. And the narratives in your head are connected to a body memory, which is an emotion. So those emotions come up when you're feeling triggered, and they are an opportunity to look at the old wounding, to look at it, accept that it's there instead of ignoring it. And as you're accepting that it's there, you can start allowing to feel it and understand, wow, it makes me feel like this. Yeah, find out how you feel about it. I don't want to feel like I'm not enough. So why do I feel like I'm not enough? Where do I feel about myself that I'm not enough? And is this my voice, or is this somebody else's voice? Is this the voice of your dad, of your mom, of your grandmother, of your teacher, of your brother, of whose voice is it that you internalized and now you're punishing yourself, or now you are doubting yourself or telling yourself you're not enough or too much? And maybe they didn't even mean for you to believe that. Maybe they just didn't learn another way to communicate, and you are, bless you, a sensitive being that took it in and believed that, oh, that must mean I'm not enough. That must mean I'm not lovable. That must mean I'm too much. That must mean I'm not capable. That must mean I will never ... It's not true. We need to question the narrative. That is the job. Question the narrative. Don't run away from it. Yeah, because usually when we're being triggered and reminded, there's the wound, the first thing I say is thank you for the trigger. Now I can see what is my actual issue and not the situation here. Yeah. And I cannot tell you how often I see my clients and I'm like, you are so capable. You're going to be so successful. You are so successful, you know, like, and sometimes we don't see it ourselves. And then we need somebody else to hold the vision for us, because just because we don't believe it about ourselves doesn't mean it's not true, or it doesn't mean that that we're capable of it. Yeah. And we all, every single human on this planet has magic inside of them. And the issue is only that we're disconnected from it, and the disconnection from who we truly are, from who is easy to be, from who is abundant to be, from who is love. We're disconnected because of those narratives and those held emotional wounds. And I know that may sound a little bit abstract, but I just want you to know you're magical. And that may sound a little cheesy, I really don't care. Because I strongly believe that we need to get a little more cheesy, and that we need to allow ourselves to feel our emotions and to dream big. Because, I mean, what else is life for if not having fun, joy, and shining your light to contribute to the betterment of others? In whatever way. You don't need to be a coach, you don't need to be a priest, you don't need to be a therapist or a healer. When you are being you in your truest expression, that may be a hairdresser, that may be an artist, that may be a construction worker, that may be a baker, whatever and whoever you are. If this is like what brings you joy, if this is where you thrive in, that's it. You know, if you're a nurse, if you're a grandmother, all you gotta do is be who you are and allow yourself to be that. Because most of us don't allow ourselves our natural desires. Again, our natural desires are a different thing than our ego desires. But once you understand, and I had a really beautiful moment with a client on Thursday this week, and they in a previous session, they reconnected to the purest version of self in childhood. And that opened up that window of, whoa, this is available for me. Like I can be myself. It's okay to be myself. It's safe to be myself. But I had forgotten that part of me, that joyful, playful, creative part of me that knows what she wants, and she's not holding back or compromising because she feels like if she doesn't, take over responsibility over the lives of others, namely family or friends or colleagues or work staff, then no, I said she, it's okay, you don't know her name. Sometimes it's hard to, when I'm in the thing, you know what I mean? Anyway, so she realized that there is space for her to take up, and it's safe to do that. It may be uncomfortable when we start taking up space and we start being who we really are and say no to things or say our opinion or say, you know what, I'm going to stay out of this. You guys figure it out, without having to be the one that is always there and always responsible or always taking over. If you grew up like that, if you had to be an adult very quickly in life, then you may have learned to be quite seriously and forget to be a child and to be playful and to allow yourself to have fun, even if it makes no sense. Because in those moments where things don't make sense and where we are not being, quote unquote, the productive that is accepted in society, then, we feel bad because we should be doing something. But our magic comes out when we are being ourselves. So, I know that every single one of us has this magic. And if you're sitting there now or watching this and you're like, I don't know if I have it. Do I have it? Yes, you do. We're just often disconnected from it. And my greatest joy in life is really to see people reconnect to who they really are. And I've realized today that I've done that for myself as well in many ways over the past 7-8 years. And I can only tell you that I have never felt so myself. Like my work is being myself, basically. And everybody can do that, and not everybody wants to go there. Not everybody is hungry to go deep and discover themselves, and that's okay. But just know that the magic is there if you're willing to look, if you're willing to face it and find it. And sometimes that also means, facing some old emotions that are uncomfortable, opening some old Pandora boxes that are hidden away in the basement of your mind and your heart. But honestly, I've opened all those boxes, and the fear of opening the boxes is way worse than actually opening the boxes. Yes, you'll have some pain. Yes, you'll feel some feelings, but that's nothing in comparison to feeling yourself and feeling that you are welcome to be yourself and safe to be yourself, and that life is here to discover ourselves. What else are you living for? It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to allow yourself to become who you are. And that's such a weird thing to say, become who you are, because you already are it, but you are removed from it because you're not in touch mentally, emotionally, and let me say spiritually with yourself. But it is available to you. It is available to all of us. And I've seen time and time again how people change when they start not looking away, not ignoring, but facing feeling, accepting, integrating. Yeah, you'll open up so many gifts of yourself. It's incredible. It's incredible, that journey. And I just love to work with people who are hungry and who have this feeling, even if you're depressed or anxious right now, I'm sure you have somehow a little bit this feeling of there must be more out there for me. There must be something. I feel that there is something, and maybe you even feel a little bit like crazy or like, I don't know if that's true. You know, it can be true if you wanted to. If you don't want it to, you don't have to have it true. You know, you don't have to discover yourself, but why not? You know, isn't that why we're alive? To come into our own and like live purposefully? I don't know. I feel like this is really something that's so important to me. And that's just talking about it brings me so much joy and excitement. And just seeing people, like, I easily see people's potential, but sometimes, you know, they don't see their own potential. And I love to just help them connect to it, because when people are connected to who they really are, to what they like to do, their natural expression without limiting themselves and without feeling like they need to hold back and you need to, why am I saying they? I can say you know, without you feeling like you have to hold back parts of yourself to be accepted and loved. You know, your tribe is out there. They just cannot find you if you're not being you. And it's vulnerable to express yourself if you've grown up in a way where you learned that, no, this is not good. This is not acceptable, no matter if too much or not enough. And it took me a long time to uncover and dismantle and, you know, express those parts of myself. But damn, it's worth it, you know? Like, it's just, when you allow yourself to be you, life gets so much better. And I feel like the universe will always support you in taking those heartfelt and heart-aligned decisions, you know. So I don't know, I just felt a little bit nostalgic today, and I wanted to share this with you because, you know, you can travel miles and miles and miles away from home to find yourself, but it may open your mind, but you don't actually need to go anywhere. You know, if you feel like, oh, I want to find myself, but I don't have the budget, you know, it's right in here. All you got to do is listen. You got to listen to, what do you really want? And it's okay not to know, but you'll find out. Like, do you really like vanilla ice cream, or do you really like pasta? Or maybe you don't like something like that. You just grew up like eating it all the time. But have you ever asked yourself, is this really my favorite flavor? Is the place that I live in really what I like? Is the paintings on the wall really what I like? Or am I just doing that because all my family and friends are doing the same thing? You know, like, if we want to become who we are, we got to start asking ourselves better questions. We got to start asking ourselves the hard questions, because they lead to really good answers. And then that's when it gets juicy. Yeah, so the magic is within you. You don't, this is something, when I discovered that, I had to laugh so loud out. I had to laugh out loud so much, because I was like, oh my God. I mean, I enjoyed every place I've ever traveled to, but I've done a ton of traveling, and always in the pursuit of, when will I find myself? How will I find myself? And all that stuff. But I was always here. And when I realized that, oh my God, that moment was priceless. I was just laughing. Because we think we need to do all these ayahuasca and mushrooms and all these crazy things in order to find ourselves. We have to be outside and let mediums tell us who we are. and let tarot tell us who we are. I mean, no offense, I really love all those little tools, and it's exciting to try those out of curiosity. And there's some really talented people out there whose magic it is to facilitate those things. But you actually don't need any of that. All you gotta do is listen to yourself. What do you want? Who are you? Ask yourself the hard questions and you will get there. Because usually we don't dare to ask questions. We like to be a little sneaky, bypassy around it, and no judgment. We all do that. All you gotta do is listen, my friend. And that's okay. It takes some time to realize. And honestly, the easiest practice that I use to get in touch with myself is breathwork, again and again and again. And if you ever want to join one of my online sessions, next is coming up in October. Find the link below. If you need some one-on-one help, also the link below. Yeah, I don't know. Tell me below. Tell me in the comments, what is your magic? Do you know your magic? Are you aware of who you are, what your magic is? Do you feel connected to yourself? Tell me a little bit. I want to get to know you too. We're nearly 800, we're over 800 people now. So please, I want to get to know you as well. Share a little bit of your magic with me. And I know that you have magic, so don't act like you don't. So put a comment below and I want to know everything about it. Okay? All right, sweet people, I am going to finish packing. Oh, it's my water bottle. This is my yoga mat, and these are my singing bowls that I need to ship. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, no matter what time it is. I send you love. Don't give up on yourself. The magic is within you. And it's not about, asking yourself, is the magic really there? It's there. All you got to do is find it, connect to it, and express it. That's all from me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I know it's a little bit cuckoo today, but I gotta be myself. You gotta be yourself. So here we are. If you haven't yet, subscribe, and I see you tomorrow.